You don't fix a leak by tightening the budget. You fix it by loosening the shame. For years, I thought I had a spending problem, but I didn't. I had an unmet needs problem. Every time I felt overwhelmed, lonely, burnt out, or unseen, I tried to fix it with something external, a Target trip, takeout, a new planner, whatever made me feel together. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I want to let you know that there is a free companion workbook that goes along with this episode. It's packed with reflection prompts and activities to help you actually use what you're going to learn, not just listen to it. So go ahead and pause right now, hit the link in the show notes, and download your workbook before you keep listening. Trust me, this episode is going to hit different when you write it down. Y'all ever feel like your paycheck shows up just long enough to wave hello before it ghosts you by Friday? That's not bad math. That's a leak. I'm Danyell. I'm the founder of My Money Enterprises and the creator of TradeLandia, where emotional intelligence meets economic empowerment. Before we dive in, I want to take a second to shout out Connie Davis with Maiden Explorations for creating a space and an opportunity for me to share my voice through the podcast accelerator. Connie doesn't just talk about people finding their voice. She builds the microphone and hands it to you. So if you're hearing this today, it's because she believed this conversation needed to exist. And I'm honored to be a part of that movement. So we're not just talking about money today. We're talking about energy. Because leaks don't start in your wallet. They start in your nervous system. In the tiny, tired moments when your brain says, just swipe it, we'll figure it out later. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. A leak is any place that your money or your peace sneaks away without permission, without intention. That $7 coffee that says, I earned this, that Target run for just toothpaste that somehow hit $84, or the DoorDash dinner because dishes felt like a hostage situation. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Prime. Are you watching any of those? Individually, they're harmless, but together, that's $400 to $600 a month, which is $5,000 to $7,000 a year just leaking out of your account. Leaks are not about overspending. They're about underfeeling and unmet needs. And when we don't name our feelings, our unmet needs start spending for us. That's the quiet math of self-neglect. It's not about the numbers. It's about the narrative. Every time you numb instead of notice, that's a new hole in your budget and in your energy. So before we can fix anything, let's name the enemies. There are 5 main kinds of leaks that show up in your life, and we're going to meet every single one of them today. The first one is convenience leaks. The I'm too tired purchases, the fast food, the app orders, the last-minute Amazons. Then you have comfort leaks, the emotional ones. This is retail therapy, stress shopping, giving when you don't have anything to give. Then we have chaos leaks. These are the messy ones, the late fees, the overdrafts, double subscriptions, forgotten bills. Then we have belief leaks. This is when your thoughts start spending before your wallet does. Every time you say, I'll never get ahead, or I'm just bad with money, your brain listens and your wallet obeys. Then we have boundary leaks. When guilt starts writing checks your peace can't cash. Those times when you say yes, when your bank account is screaming no, or when you lend, you cover or you fix just to keep the peace. So convenience drains time. Comfort drains peace. Chaos drains confidence. Beliefs drain power. And boundaries drain self-worth. And underneath all 5, you have a nervous system that's just tired of surviving. If you recognize yourself in more than one, congratulations. That means you're human. But you can't fix what you don't see, and awareness is where it all starts. So are you ready? Let's dig into the first leak, convenience. These are the gas station leaks, your drive-through breakfast, they all just DoorDash. They all wear a shiny little badge that says, I make your life easier. But convenience has a tax, doesn't it? It costs awareness. One of my clients learned that the hard way. She's a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids and a husband who works nights. She's juggling homework, sports, and chaos. And she told me, I swear my DoorDash guy knows my schedule better than my husband does. One of her regular drivers, Marcus, even started bringing treats for her dogs. That's when she said, okay, maybe I've gone too far. So we pulled up her statements, and y'all, she had 20 plus DoorDash orders in a single month. Dinner for 4 averaged about $125 a pop, once you added in the delivery fees, the tips, and let's not forget dessert. She was ordering 3 to 4 times a week, which meant that she was spending between $1,500 and $2,000 a month on takeout. That is a freaking mortgage. So we sat down together with her notebook and highlighters. She wrote out what meals that she could actually make with what she already had. No fancy plan, just food that didn't come in a paper bag. By the time she was done, she looked at me and she said, I didn't even realize how much I'd stopped trusting myself to handle dinner. That's when it clicked. It was never about food. It was about fatigue. The moment she took her power back from that app, she started to breathe again. She saved over $500 that first week, and by the end of the month, that savings was almost $1,800 just from cooking at home a few nights a week. That's what a leak looks like. It's not bad money management. It's emotional exhaustion that got expensive. And when you start to heal that exhaustion, that's when the leaks finally plug. And let me just be real for a second. We've all had those I deserve it nights. You've worked hard. You're running on fumes. And that app starts whispering like a devil in your pocket. You've done enough. You've earned fries. But every treat we justify from burnout becomes a tiny withdrawal from trust. Sometimes we're not feeding hunger. We're feeding depletion. So before I ever became a budget coach, I was a stay-at-home mom for 27 years. And let me tell you, Target was my adult recess. Comfort leaks live where our feelings do. You've had a long week and suddenly add to cart feels like self-care. I'd tell myself, I just need toothpaste. 10 minutes later, I'm pushing a cart like I'm redecorating my life. One night, I was so stressed, I drove there at 9 p.m., and the smell of the dollar aisle hit me like a warm hug from Danyell. 15 minutes later, I had a candle called Sunday Reset, a new blanket, and a planner promising to fix my entire existence. I went home, I lit that candle, I wrapped up in that new blanket, and I laughed out loud. I wasn't buying stuff. I was buying comfort, trying to fix a feeling that toothpaste couldn't touch. I sat there and I asked myself, what am I actually trying to feel right now? And the answer wasn't happy. It was safe. When we don't name our feelings and unmet needs, our spending starts speaking for us. And here's the thing about comfort. It lies. It promises peace and delivers clutter. You ever bought something thinking it would change your mood, only to feel broke and disappointed 30 minutes later? That's the emotional hangover nobody talks about. Comfort leaks are sneaky because they wear disguises. Sometimes it's a new outfit. Sometimes it's brunch. Sometimes it's overgiving, buying peace by avoiding conflict. You ever gift somebody something just to feel appreciated again? That's not generosity. That's emotional outsourcing. And listen, there's no shame here. Every comfort leak is just an unmet need asking to be seen. When you catch yourself in one, don't judge it. Get curious. Ask, what's the real need underneath this? Because once you can meet that need on purpose, you won't have to keep swiping to soothe it. Comfort leaks don't mean you're weak. They mean you're human. They're just proof that your heart's been trying to heal through your debit card. Now let's talk about chaos, because we all know her. Late fees, overdrafts, forgotten subscriptions, parking tickets you swear weren't your fault. One of my clients, and she gave me permission to share this, found out that she'd been paying for the same channel twice for over a year. The Hallmark Channel, once through Apple, once through Amazon, both $20 a month for 12 months. That's nearly $500 to watch the same Christmas movie in July. And when she told me, we laughed until we cried, because that's exactly what chaos leaks are. They're not bad with money, just overwhelmed and distracted. She wasn't careless, she was surviving. But once she saw it, she canceled one subscription, she updated her passwords, and she created a Money Monday routine to check in weekly. 15 minutes of order saved her hundreds and gave her confidence back. Chaos leaks don't mean that you're a mess. They mean that your system needs structure. And listen, life is chaos sometimes. Single mom, business owners, people working 2 jobs. We are not out here with perfectly labeled envelopes and bullet journals. But chaos, it thrives in confusion. And if you can bring a little order, even a tiny bit, you start creating room for peace to sit down at the table. And peace is what makes your money behave. So if you're hearing this and thinking, yep, that's me, then do this one thing. Tonight, pick one system, set one autopay, rename one bank account, unsubscribe from one service that you forgot existed. That's how you start to clean up chaos. One tiny, courageous act of clarity at a time. And by the way, if you ever find yourself paying for the same channel twice, baby, you're not alone. Leaks are survival patterns. If you grew up watching money equal stress, your body remembers. When life gets hard, your mind whispers, spend something, feel safe again. It's not irresponsibility. That's your nervous system trying to soothe itself. And when we start to understand that, we can finally stop shaming ourselves for it. I was sitting on the floor one night, surrounded by receipts, doing that tired kind of cry where you're not even sad, you're just done. I've been working so hard, but still felt broke and behind. I said it out loud. If I'm fighting this hard, I want to fight for me, not against me. That night was the start of me finally being honest with myself. I realized I wasn't just tired of being broke. I was tired of being disconnected from what I actually needed. Leaks don't come from laziness. They come from unmet needs. You're tired. You're lonely, overstimulated, or underappreciated. You're holding the world up with one hand and your sanity with the other. And when you don't have space to process those feelings, your body will reach for the fastest relief that it knows. The swipe, the tap, the click, the add to cart. Spending is often self-soothing, wearing a disguise. You ever notice that moment of calm you get right after you hit purchase? That tiny rush? That's dopamine. That's your nervous system saying, thank God I felt something good for half a second. But here's the kicker. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between healthy comfort and temporary relief. So if you keep reaching for the wrong thing long enough, you start training your brain to chase chaos instead of peace. And guilt is the glue that keeps leaks in place. We feel bad for spending, so we punish ourselves with restriction, and then we binge again. We try to save, but the shame hits harder than the overdraft fees. That's the exhaustion loop. Spend, shame, repeat. And this is where the healing begins. Because when you start replacing guilt with curiosity, when instead of asking, why do I keep doing this, you start asking, what am I trying to feel? Every leak tells a story. Sometimes it says, I'm tired. Sometimes it says, I need help. And sometimes it says, I'm craving control in a world that won't stop spinning. And when you listen instead of judge, your leaks start teaching you how to heal. You don't fix a leak by tightening the budget. You fix it by loosening the shame. For years, I thought I had a spending problem, but I didn't. I had an unmet needs problem. Every time I felt overwhelmed, lonely, burnt out or unseen, I tried to fix it with something external. A Target trip, takeout, a new planner, whatever made me feel together for 5 minutes. But underneath every leak was a feeling I hadn't named. And when I started paying attention to those feelings, not judging them, just listening, everything changed. Because when you learn to meet your own needs with intention, the urge to leak starts to disappear on its own. It's not about being perfect with money. It's about being present with yourself. That's the real work, the part no budget app and no spreadsheet can do for you. Because the real budget, it's emotional. Now let's talk about the leaks that we don't see on paper. Belief leaks. They sound like this. I'm bad with money. I'll never get ahead. I can't save. I've always been like this. Those are stories that we repeat until they become our truth. And then our wallet starts to obey our words. One of my clients, a single mom, told me, I'm just not good with money. And I asked her, who told you that? She said, my ex. He used to say it every time I made a mistake. So I asked, do you believe him or do you believe you? And that silence said everything. Because belief leaks are sneaky. They start as other people's opinions and end up as our own inner voice. You don't just leak dollars, you leak belief. Every time you say, I'll start next month, that's belief dripping out of your confidence jar. Your words are financial instructions to your brain. Every I can't tells your mind to stop trying. So if you're going to repeat something, make it truth that builds you, not breaks you. You are not bad with money. You've just been budgeting your belief towards survival instead of success. And belief leaks don't just mess with your bank account, they mess with your identity. Because when you stop believing in your own capacity to handle money, you start outsourcing your power to whoever sounds confident. That's how manipulation and money trauma happen. Belief becomes currency, and when you give it away, you go broke twice. Protect your belief like your favorite hoodie. Once someone stretches it out, it never fits the same again. Budget leaks are easy to see, but boundary leaks, those hit different. Boundary leaks happen when you keep saying yes out of guilt, giving, lending, covering, volunteering, fixing. I had a whole season I called yes inflation. Every time someone needed something, I said yes. Even when my bank account was screaming, girl, we are in a recession. That's not generosity. That's guilt with good intentions. And here's the truth. If your no isn't protected, your wallet never will be. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you sustainable. Sometimes no is a full sentence. Sometimes no is a boundary. Sometimes no is self-respect whispering through the static of people-pleasing. You can love people and still protect your peace. You can be generous without being drained. Because a yes that costs your peace is just another kind of debt. Plugging leaks isn't about perfection. It's about rebuilding trust with yourself, one small promise at a time. Every time you keep a tiny promise, like checking your balance, cooking dinner, or deleting an unused subscription, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted with more. When you stop apologizing for starting over, your energy stops leaking. And that, my friend, is belief management. You're not broken. You're rebuilding. You're learning to pour where it counts. And when you do that, the money follows. So next time you mess up, and you will, don't spiral. Just say, I caught the leak, and now I can plug it. That is power. All right, so let's make this practical for a second. Step 1, you're going to name your leaks. Write down your top 3 leaks. Awareness is power, and you can't fix what you won't face. Step 2, pause before you purchase. Ask yourself, what am I trying to feel right now? That one question alone will save you more than any budgeting app ever could. Step 3, create tiny boundaries. Maybe it's one no-spend day a week. Maybe it's deleting a delivery app. Maybe it's saying no without explaining yourself. Step 4, redirect that energy and that money with purpose. Give every saved dollar a mission, a peace fund, a therapy fund, a freedom fund. Because when your money has a mission, it behaves. And no, your peace fund doesn't have to be fancy. It can live in a shoebox or a spreadsheet. What matters is that it exists. Now, I want you to imagine something real. You're sitting at your kitchen table tonight. Bills are stacked up. A little dread is creeping in. You open your banking app and, for once, you don't panic. You just breathe. You grab a piece of paper and you write, "My leaks are," and then you name 3. And then right next to each one, you write, "What need am I trying to meet?" That's it. That's where awareness turns into healing. Because once you understand what your leak is trying to fix, you can finally start patching the symptoms and start nurturing the source. If you want to go deeper this week, here's a simple journaling prompt. Where am I spending to feel seen? And what would it look like to meet that need directly? And a challenge. Pick one leak, any leak, and plug it for just 7 days. See what happens to your peace when you stop outsourcing your comfort. Because peace doesn't come from what you buy. It comes from knowing why you wanted to buy it in the first place. Take a deep breath. Picture yourself a year from now. Leaks plugged, peace steady, money flowing with purpose. That version of you exists because this version of you decided to stop leaking today. Every leak tells a story, but you get to decide how it ends. And hey, if you wrote down those 3 leaks, you just took your first step forward toward plugging them. So start small. Pick one leak this week. Money, energy, belief, and plug it. Not perfectly, intentionally. And before we close, I just want to say again, thank you, Connie Davis at Maiden Explorations, for believing in me and my voice and giving me the platform that changes lives. If you felt something today, it's because that ripple started with her belief that this story matters. So wherever you are, know this: peace isn't boring, and you were never meant to leak forever. But broke is boring. Peace is powerful.